What's going on, guys? We're going to go over the FC Pro Open Anders' tactics, the one that he used to win the Pro Open. I'm also going to show you some gameplay of him. I'm going to show you some gameplay of myself. And I'm also going to tell you at the end some tactical change that you should make for your style, the average player. Now, Anders won the FC Pro Open in 2025 just a couple of days ago. These are his tactics. He's also got a video. I'll leave it down below in the description. I like his style, a bit like mine, no BS, says as it is. But let's go straight into tactics. So first of all, these are his tactics. He is playing without the ball and with the ball, both for 4-2-1-3. Do you want to get better at FC25? Now, before you skip ahead, what if I told you if you joined my FC school and you didn't get better after 1 month, I'll refund your money? I can say this because I've been running my FC school for many, many years and thousands of students join and even stay on. We go over complete in-depth gameplay tutorials showing you both the theory of something and the gameplay examples using real-life examples in a structured format that's like a course. The videos are on a systematic learning system teaching you everything from the core mechanics, the basics to the meta so you can get better as a whole with explanations that go beyond the scope of my YouTube channel. FC School has already started with every single tactical layout, focuses, meta cards, and learn the meta before it even becomes a meta. So come join thousands of others in a mature audience community for those looking to get better at FC25, patreon.com/nilguides, or click the link down below. Now, when you join, we already have a library of hundreds of videos, more than my YouTube channel, in fact, with new videos on FC25 getting constantly added so you'll never run out of content. The biggest mistake people do is they spend thousands of dollars on FP points every year thinking this will make them better, but it won't. But now it's time for you to make that change. Don't forget, if you don't get better after 1 month, just send me a message and I'll refund your money. That's the Nil Guys guarantee. Links down below in the description, patreon.com/. Probably one of the best formations inside the game. He plays a balanced style, which I actually use counter. And we'll come back to why I would recommend counter for the average player towards the end of the video. It's a bit different because he's a pro player. No, they don't have any secret tactics. They're not hiding any tactics. People think, oh yeah, the pros are hiding their tactics. No, they're not. Defense approach he's gone with high. We'll also show you in my gameplay example why you got to be careful with high, but why it can be very useful. And then for the player roles, you can see he's got with inside forward roaming. I've always mentioned that I've loved using inside forward roaming. People used to laugh at me, but thankfully now Anders used it, so now no one can say anything about it anymore. But I've always said it's the best for movement. Inside forward roaming is the best for movement inside the game. The only downside is, and you're going to see this in the gameplay, is that they basically stay forward. They don't come back to defend. But then you get the benefit of having those attacking players. Striker on advanced forward, possibly one of the best. We'll go over some configurations towards the end. He plays a playmaker in the cam, so you still have that bit of one player coming back as opposed to a left wing and right wing. In contrast, are going to stay forward. So you're going to basically have a front three staying forward. And he's got both CDMs on deep line, playmaker, build-up play. So yes, you don't have the left wing and right wing coming back, but you got these two players stabilizing the fence, and then he goes with left back and right back on balanced, and then sweeper keeper on balance. So let's now go into a live gameplay example, and I'll show you how this works, and I'll show you my changes at the end and what you should change for your playstyle. Okay, let's go inside the game now. We're going to play a bit normal. So first of all, I want to show you, look, you can see you got that left wing and right wing. It's actually, the 4-2-1-3 is definitely a top 3 formation inside the game. You know, I mentioned playing the 4-1-2-1-2 second variation before because I like the narrow style of play. But you can see, look, when you're attacking, you got those deep line playmakers, getting those ping pass and using those skill moves or whatever you need to do inside the box is what's very, very key. Now, I'm actually playing this live, by the way, but I'm going to avoid putting the controls on the screen so you don't get confused. Now, one thing you got to bear in mind is have a look at my attack, right? So look at my attack. Now, you see, I'm just going to get the ball back to my opponent here. I'm just going to control the striker, right? Philogene. Now, have a look at both the left wing and the right wing. Look at, see that? Look on the radar. You see how those front three are stay forward? So you got to bear that in mind. Have a look on the radar. You can see you got those three players, those three strikers on stay forward. So that means that there's a big chance you could lose the ball and be in trouble. The key thing is that you have those CDMs in positions. Now, deep line playmakers, I like them. I prefer holding, personally speaking, because I feel like it gives you that advantage. But this is what I was talking about roaming. You see, look at Rashford. You see how Rashford's kind of playing like a 9, going to go in that striker role because that striker is not there. Because Philogene, as you can see, my striker, he's now moving into that position. That is one of the key things why I've always liked roaming. It's that movement that you get. Defend the situation over here. And you can see the benefit is, I thought that was a penalty for a second. Yeah, sometimes with this game, I swear, you honestly, you never know. One of the key other benefits is he has his fullbacks on balance. Now, he makes actually a really cheeky remark inside the game, and maybe I should use that as well, is that if you can't defend with your left back and right back, should you be playing a game? Maybe not that extreme, but what I'm trying to say is, what he's trying to say is, look, you should know how to defend with your left back and right back. And most people don't. So it's fine to use left back and right back on defend. Don't forget, with these pro teams, they only have, I think, 7 million coins, something like that. And then every single time they have certain requirements. So when you see a pro team, it's not necessarily the team they want to use. They may be forced to use X amount of cards in the new promotion to kind of market the team a little bit, and thus make people spend money, right? So that is one of the key reasons. So just because you see a team, it doesn't mean that's a team that they want to choose. Most of the time, the strike force is what they want to choose. But of course, you can't be like, with 7 million coins, where are you going to use all the team of the year Haalands and Mbappe? Now, one of the benefits of an advanced forward, as you can see, is I think they have the second best movement. I would say Poacher for me still is better. Personally speaking, and you can see, look, this is what I was talking about. So you can see, look at the left back on opposite side. Do you see you got Mendy going forward with the fullback being on balance? As you can see, you have that player inside the middle that you can use double up and go down the wing, and you can use it to create that overload inside the middle. So that's the key benefit. Of course, if you lose the ball, you got to run back. So when you've lost the ball, that is when you got to right stick switch to your CDMs and run to cover that position. Do you see with Tonali, I saw that Mendy was going forward. When Mendy was going forward and I lost the ball, there was no one there. So I used Tonali to cover that area. I didn't use, you can use, for example, a CDM on a wide player. I'll show you that at half time. But to be honest, you don't really need to. You can, if you really wanted to, you can put your CDM to cover that route. But anyway, look, you know what, to be honest, this player leaves. Okay, you know what? The player left. To be honest, we showed everything we needed to show, really. I think you basically saw the main things. It's not going to be anything special. I just wanted to show you the inside forwards, the left wings and right wings. Now, let's go into the tactics on what I would suggest and what I would change depending on your playstyle. So now, what would I change? Now, the thing is, I think it's a very good system. It's almost identical to the system that I use. The only thing I would say maybe is putting these fullbacks to defend. And let's say, for example, leaving one of them on balanced. But for most people watching this, let's say you're watching this and you're below rank 3, it's best to use these players on defend. Because most people, they struggle defensively. Even before the patch, defending is where people struggle the most. So if anything, I'll put the left back and right back on stay back. And that way you won't get covered. What I was talking about inside is, if you want to, you could put wide half. And that way, if you put, for example, a fullback on balanced, or let's say when they're attacking, let's just say, just to show you what it looks like, let's say they're attacking like this, one of the CDMs moves to cover that role. So that's also another alternative that you can have. But to be honest, deep line playmaker, I didn't really use build up that much, but to be honest, it wasn't that bad. To be honest, I didn't really experiment too much. I still like at least one of them on deep line playmaker and like one of them on holding, personally speaking. But with both of them on build up, it actually works well, especially if you're the kind of player that likes receiving the ball to your feet and then maneuvering the ball up front. I think it's fine. I think ideally you need players here that are good on the ball and got good defensive awareness and good sprint speed. The cam, I actually normally play a shadow striker here, but I can understand why that's being a bit too attacking. So to be honest, putting one of these players on balanced is completely fine. One thing I would say is, let's say, for example, you want to have one of the fullbacks go forward. What you could potentially do is put, for example, one of these on a wing back, or even if you want to put them on a fullback balanced, and maybe for that player on this side, you could, for example, put them on inside forward balance. So at least that way, you kind of have a bit of support on the right-hand side. Although realistically, it's not going to make that much sense because when that player goes forward, you're still going to have a gap. But you can try to mitigate it in that way. But to be honest, this is actually a very similar tactic to what I've been using for the past couple of days. And the question is, where will this fit in? And the only thing I would say is maybe the depth. The high depth, I think, is fine for most people. But what I would say is that you have to know how to defend. You got to run back in time. So if you're not comfortable with the depth, decrease it. Remember, you're not Anders. You're not Anders. And I think what he said in the video is correct. Maybe his tactics will give you 1 or 2 extra wins, but it's not going to change your gameplay. So don't think by using these tactics, I'm suddenly going to become a 15-0 player. If you're a 12-0 player, you might get 13, but you're not going to go to 15 straight away. The build-up style is the only thing I'll change. I put this on counter. I think for the average player, count is a bit more. Of course, pro players use a lot of L1 triggers, pushing players in the right place at the right time. They know their timings, which is the most important thing. So that's one thing I would probably change. So putting this on counter and maybe going with something like this. That's the only change that I would make in regards to that. And that would be the code for the revised changes. So the question is, where does this fit in? I'm not really done any tactics reviews for quite a long time because tactics are all the same. Let's be realistic. But you can check out this links down below down below in the description, and also in a pinned comment. So where would this go? So realistically, look, Diego Mendes, here's 4222. I still use it. It's very, very good. You can see my changes. This would probably go just above my 4213. The only reason why is because most of these tactics here are pre-patch. In fact, I want to make sure that these are marked as pre-patch. The thing is that if you're asking me personally, you don't need a left back to be an attacking player, whereas pre-patch you did. So I'm going to say, okay, so where am I going to put it? I've decided I'm going to put it second. You don't need, as I said, you don't need to be a high skill player to use it. And of course, it's a post-patch tactic. Now, one thing I would say is, with my original changes, as you can see, well, my changes over here, it's just a bit more conservative. If you want to make the formation even more safer, let's say the left forward and the right forward, or left wing and right wing, on stay forward. So what you can do is you can also, just want to say this as well, is you can also put the inside forwards on balance, but the difference is you won't get those movements. I might explain to you earlier with Rashford, that unique movements that you don't get the same, but at least they help you defensively when you come back. So at least without the ball, they come back a little bit. So if you do struggle with defense, you can do that. But what we've done is we put that code in. I think it's a very, very good tactic. I still think I prefer the 4222 above this. But I think for most people, this would be the better formation. Maybe you can have the argument of it being first. But anyway, look, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. And don't forget, if you want to get better FC, come to my Patreon. So it's patreon.com/no guys. Links down below in the description. If you don't get better after 1 month, we'll refund your money. And also, we're going to have a full gameplay analysis where I go over Anders versus Oberman in the final, that full match. You can see analysis on my channel, the mistakes and how you can do what the pros do. And remember, if you don't get better after 1 month, we'll refund your money. No guys guarantee. Links down below in the description. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace.